Okay, everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining us, session 2 of our new social media training series. My name is James Ketchum. Carrie, her lovely face that you see there, she and I run the soundboard together and are here to help. We're here to help. And so today we're going to be talking about going live on social media. Of course, it's easy. There's a lot of platforms out there to go live on. We're going to focus right now on Facebook and Instagram, which are two of the most popular platforms for doing that. And then we'll talk about a little bit of the why as well. Remember, this is a webinar format, not a typical Zoom call, so I can't see you. So if you have questions, please drop them in the chat, and Carrie and I will field those as we go. And this will be recorded and posted to our Facebook and our YouTube, and I'll put it on Voxer and all those places as well, so you can share it with your teams. Okay, so why? Why go live at all? It's very personal. It's very immediate. If you've got to tell a story, why not tell it in a format that's engaging? Why not tell it in a format that's easy to be yourself? Once you do it one time and you get over how weird it feels talking to your phone with the intention of having an audience but not having an audience, once you get past that, it's so easy to do it. Another point is, and we've talked about this in past training sessions, video content is the favorite content of social media platforms. And so video content has the most weight, and therefore it has the longest shelf life. With Facebook in particular, it's a wonderful way to keep your post at the top of people's feeds or high up in their feeds. So we've talked about that before, that Facebook algorithm. But the video content has the most weight. So that means it has the slowest decay rate, meaning it gets pushed down in people's feeds more slowly. Instagram stories, which is the other thing we're going to talk a lot about today, they last for 24 hours. Whereas if you throw a video or a post up on Instagram, everything's posted chronologically. So the longer it's on there, the further people have to scroll to see it. And so, we now live, a couple of years ago, Time Magazine made the person of the year you, because we all have the capacity to be seen and to be heard around the world wherever we are. So take advantage of this. I did have to throw this in here. I thought these were really cool. This is one of probably 505 examples of cheap and effective phone mounts. This one, I found them, I think they're about $3 on Amazon. They are 99 cents on eBay. So GeckoPod, I'm putting a little unsponsored blurb in here for you. But again, this is one variation on a theme. If you plan on doing this with any kind of frequency, please get one of these things and don't feel obligated to just sit there and hold your phone. Nobody likes shaky cam. I have walked out of Bourne movies because boo, shaky cam. Nobody wants to see it. So unless you are on a roller coaster, I did make a very fun Facebook Live video with my daughter on a roller coaster. But, not every video is roller coaster movement worthy. So get yourself a little something like this and people will appreciate it. So when you're considering going on Facebook Live, we're going to walk through some steps now to consider before you just hit that button and go for it. Portrait versus landscape. This is an important consideration. If you are trying to show something, please, show something bigger than yourself, please turn your phone sideways. Think about it in terms of the shape of the computer screen or the shape of the TV. They are rectangular, turned on their sides. They are long ways. They do not, or portrait videos mostly do not look good on these things because they have these huge black bars and you feel like you're not seeing it all. Ken is not hearing any sound. Anybody else? Are you having sound trouble? Carrie, you can hear me, right? Okay. Ken, Carrie, can you chat him and say that I think it's working and he might need to check his speakers or something? So just be thoughtful about the portrait versus the landscape. There's nothing more irritating to me to be watching some video where I'm supposed to be seeing more of the background and people are holding their phone up, and it admittedly is more comfortable to hold it up and down in portrait mode. Your hand fits it better. But if you are trying to show off anything besides your own face, please turn that thing sideways. Next thing, before you think about going on live, make sure you have at least 3 bars of signal or are on Wi-Fi so that it will be a nice, smooth connection for people. But at the same time, don't worry if the signal stutters a little bit. Don't start mashing stuff. Don't hit the stop button and freak out. Just give it a few seconds to reconnect, and 9 times out of 10, it will. And it's a live video. Nobody's going to be upset that you had trouble. They'll probably stay with you. Now, one of the really fun things about going live, and if you ever tap into our Healthy Living Soundboard Facebook page, I don't do it as frequently as I should. I'm calling myself out here, but I do like to go live and talk about, social media tips, industry changes, things like that. The longer that you are on, the more chance you have of people seeing it while it happens. And if they're watching you live, then they have the capacity to comment or send up likes or emojis or whatever while it's happening. If people take the time to comment, please pay attention to that and acknowledge them and, give them a shout out and respond to their question and make it a conversational thing. I mean, you talk about an engaged user. That is an incredible little resource there. So keep your eye. If you're doing something and you're going to be going live for 10 or 15 minutes on Facebook, you're showing people how to make, a particular recipe or something like that, and you're doing something fun from your kitchen and you've got your phone on one of those little tripods, at least glance at it every minute or two so that you can be watching for those comments and things to come through. Do not leave those engagements on the table. Also, before you go live, you can write a description, or after you complete the post, you can give it a description. Definitely that is worth doing so that if people see that, hey, it's a 12 to 15 minute video, but you're baking something that they may be interested in, or you're talking about a topic that they're interested in, give a quick blurb at the beginning of it so that they can know what they're tuning in for and why it's valuable to see. If you are doing something that is more than just sharing your thought of the day, if you are doing something that is, if you're going to be live streaming an event that you're having at your home, if you're going to be live streaming from your salad in a jar party, anything like that that's a planned thing that you want to share, tease it, do a little build up. If you have a Facebook business page, we'll talk a lot more about this in session 4, but if you have a Facebook business page, make an event for it, invite people to it, all of that. That would be a really valuable thing to tease that time. So another thought is, of course, when to do this. When is the best time to go live? I'd say play with it at first, but at the same time, think about what is your topic. Again, if you are just going live because you're sitting in the carpool line and you've got 10 minutes and something's been on your mind or on your heart and you want to share that, or, if you've got a customer story, breakthrough, healthy living story to tell, and it's easy to do, then just go live when you think about it. But if it's something to be planned, if it's an interview, interviews are great. I love listening to interviews because I treat them like podcasts. I don't have to watch it. I can turn it on I can have one earbud in my ear at work. I could be working on something else, and I'm just listening to it like I would a podcast. I don't have to be looking at it. That kind of stuff is great during the day. If you've got something going on where you want to show what's happening and you're doing something, then plan that to be at a time where more people can watch it. So that's probably an evening kind of thing. But again, you know your audience, play around with it, but that is something to consider. When you're ready to start broadcasting, I'm not going to switch back and forth to actually doing this, because when I've tried in the past to show you how to go live on Facebook Live while I'm doing a Zoom, it sets up this really weird feedback loop. But it's super easy to do. When you're on Facebook, there's a button there that just says live. I'm pretty sure that's what it says, or go live. I'll look. But it's, it's just like creating a post. It's like dropping in a link. Yeah, it's a live button and it's got a camera by it. And so all you have to do is hit that and it'll start, or it'll bring up your camera and then it'll start recording. When you start it, if you've got something to say, give folks a quick, hey, this is why I'm here. We're going to talk about this. And again, if you are going live for an extended period of time, just like they do on when you take a break from the news and you come back and they say, we're here with so-and-so talking about so-and-so. And then they get back into it. Give those kind of interludes to help people or new viewers keep up with what's going on. The last thing is the finishing things. When you're done recording, you hit that stop button. Don't start jerking your phone around. Don't start moving yet. Let that circle close. Let it ding. And then that will tell you that the live session's closed. Okay, you don't want to end it with a bunch of jiggly camera craziness. Do your best to keep that still. And then it'll ask you if you want to post your video or delete it. And that's where you can write in more of the description. And then you hit post and it'll stay there. Keep in mind, if you are on Facebook Live and you are live, people on Facebook can see that right then. This is not like recording a video where you can show it later. Now, after the live video is over, if you choose to delete it, it will not stay in your feed. If you choose to save it, it does stay in your feed. So if you went to the Healthy Living Soundboard Facebook page, you scroll down, you would see old videos of me because I posted them. So don't think that when you're live that that's just a practice run for what's going to be posted later. Okay, it's not. Just clarifying that. Now, any questions on that before we get to the Instagram piece? Or Carrie, do you have any thoughts? Okay, I take silence as a no.
Sorry, I was on mute, but no questions. I think great so far.
Right on. Okay, so Instagram stories is the other thing that I want you to be thinking about, because Facebook Live, it's a wonderful way to talk to your network, to talk to your friends, to talk to your friend, your audience. Instagram does a great job of, especially if you have a public profile, connecting you with new people. And so if you have a private account, this is a great way to be a little bit more personal. If you have a public account, then this is a little bit way to be a little bit more open and out there and talking about, the healthy living lifestyle and all those kinds of things. The reason that I really want you to understand Instagram stories is, you always hear about the rise and fall of social media platforms. And it seems like we hear about some new platform taking off, and maybe it lasts and maybe it doesn't. What has set Instagram apart from so many of these others all these years is, one, its simplicity. Two, they were the first app to figure out how to use filters well. So even back in the day when they launched and our cameras on our phones weren't that good, they had ways of making your photos look really good. And then Snapchat happened, and Snapchat is, well, I'm not going to get into why Snapchat was originally designed. It's illicit. but it became to be used as this fun way to share quick videos and images with people that, quote unquote, were supposed to be a little more private. Well, Instagram, of course, was bought by Facebook, but they have built in this entire infrastructure that basically stole a lot of Snapchat's thunder. And so if you have young people in your life, and you may be on Snapchat, but typically Snapchat's known as the younger person's game. Instagram has subsumed a lot of the features of Snapchat, and so a lot of people have stopped using Instagram and Snapchat side by side, and now are just on Instagram, both for the photo sharing and now for what the stories can do, because it makes it so easy to share videos that can then be customized on top of. So what we're going to walk through now is a little bit of the process. I did not go into every single step of this because there's more here than I can get through. Also, my phone does not behave well with Instagram, so I'm not going to switch to a live version of this. My phone's too old. It runs it too slowly. And so a lot of what everything we're going to talk about is going to be from the slideshow. So I encourage you to get in there and just try this and kick the tires on this thing. And just play with it and make it your own. And don't be afraid to mess something up or post something that seems awkward or weird at first, okay? No one cares. Just try it. The other great thing, and I mentioned this at the beginning, but I'll say it again, is Instagram stories stay at the top of your friends' feeds for 24 hours, okay? An Instagram post maybe has a shelf life of, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, depending on how many people you follow. So here's how to get into it. All right. At the top of your Instagram feed, when you're looking at your home feed, you've got this button that looks like the Instagram icon. You hit that to begin creating your story. Okay. What your story is either a collection of photos or videos or both that you can either make some kind of slideshow with or some kind of movie vignettes, a series of them. When you hit that your story button, it's going to let you do a couple of things. It's going to let you make a live video. A normal video is just has a starting point and a finishing point. A boomerang is a repeating, it's like a GIF. It's a repeating action over and over and over. So if you make a funny face or you jump off a trampoline or somebody does a flip off a diving board and you want that to repeat over and over and over again, that's what a boomerang does. A rewind is your video in reverse. So if you do that, jump off the diving board, you can back it up and make a fun little video that way. And then it cut off, but the last thing is hands-free. And what hands-free does is you can hit record, and then you don't have to keep holding it down for it to record. It'll keep recording as long as you let it. Okay, so those are the video choices that you have. Once you pick that video and record it, then you can add a filter and then add some photos and videos. So you see in step 3 here, I've taken a couple of photos. These are the photos in my camera roll from the last 24 hours. Taken some picture of some swag. And you can compile those things in whatever order you want. Again, both video and photos to make your story. And it can be one thing, it can be 15 things, or whatever you choose. Now, this is where it gets really fun because you can manipulate all of this stuff. Okay, it doesn't have to go out just as a photo. You can drop stickers on top of it. You can draw. You can, there's a whole marker, different kinds of markers and paintbrushes. You can drop text on top of it. So you can see here at the bottom image has a couple of those things. I was just messing around. You've got the paintbrush red, and then you've got stickers and what you're doing right then. Okay, you've got text on top of it. So you can see how easy it is. And again, you've got to play with this live to make it work. But it's so easy to do something so unique and so fun just with a couple of clicks that you can put something together. I mean, I have seen everything on Instagram stories from some of my crazy friends talking about their order that they just picked up at the fast food drive-thru while they were inebriated. Not a good practice, but they did, and it was funny. All the way to professional wedding photographer video and photo slideshows. The sky is really the limit here with what you can do with these. Don't take that to feel overwhelmed like you have to have some kind of incredible, creative thing to put out. You don't. Even if you just make a 30-second video of you talking about what encouraged you today, and you post that as a story, do that. Let that be it. You don't have to get into all this other stuff. But it's, again, very easy to do and fun to play with. So after you get through putting your text on, you can add some, putting your stickers on. There's the top right, there's how to add some text. And then you can also play with face filters. So just like, one of the things that made Snapchat so popular was it had all these virtual or augmented reality filters that it would drop on top of your face and change your face and add kitty noses and ears and all that stuff. Well, I've got my monocle and my bow tie and my pipe and my top hat and mustache. So I decided that looked very dapper and I went with that choice. But again, one click, you can make a video like this. It'll move with you. It's silly. It's fun. Have fun with it. They're always updating this. It's easy to manipulate. And then if you don't like it, it's easy to undo. Okay, so there's more steps to that. There's more choices and filters and things that you can do. But I want to bring it back to the why. And the why is keeping the longevity of this stuff in mind, keeping the personality that this allows you to present in mind. It is a wonderful, wonderful thing to post information and helpful articles on your social media channels. It is a wonderful thing to inform people of what's going on in the world. But to make all of this come together and to be a success in connecting with people, in having showing your desire to share and also showing your desire to listen, begin to watch other people's stories, like them, comment on them. There are a number of health professionals, both on Facebook and on Instagram, that are super easy to search out with keywords that make their own stories that would be wonderful to follow to get some ideas and tips and tricks. Make this as silly and as goofy as you want, and don't just always, of course, make it about healthy living. But I think this is probably one of the best tools that you have in your basket when it's time to be personal, in order to share in a fun way that catches people's attention. It's got a nice long shelf life. And if you do it on a regular basis, you're going to pick up regular viewers, either from your own friend network or from the larger, the larger conversation. If you're using hashtags and things like that to join them up. So that's my thoughts. Carrie, do you have any other thoughts, since you've also been doing this a little bit with the Healthy Living Soundboard Instagram?
Yeah, no, I think you covered it really well. Just one thing I would highlight on Instagram, or just a way to think about it, is it's really about capturing moments, right? Like some of the people that I follow that are these big health gurus in the world, it's literally, I see them do video stories of waves on a beach, right? And that's a subtle reminder backing up their message about finding time for calmness in your life, or whatever that might be. So it doesn't always have to be about you, right? It's literally sharing the moment that you're in. So
And
So,
I didn't type this in, but I meant to, and I'll mention it again. There's a difference here also in length. Instagram supports shorter form content in videos. Of course, you can put several short form videos together in a row, but there is a time limit, and I wish I knew that off the top of my head. Carrie, do you know? Is it 60 seconds on Instagram? Or am I way off on that?
Yeah, I should know. I don't. I'm tempted to pretend I do.
Whereas, okay, I'm pretty sure it's 60 seconds. Whereas Facebook Live, you can go live for an hour if you want to. And so if you're planning some kind of event, you know, again, that salad in a jar party or some kind of speaking engagement, or Dr. Sears or Dr. Odom or something like that is coming to speak to, you know, your boot camp, by all means, you know, stream that whole thing. There's no reason not to. Don't think that you can get away with that on Instagram as a story. You can't put a 60-minute video up on Instagram. It's going to be more of the clips. What did you think? Quick spot interviews, you know, things like that. Your thoughts. But keep in mind that there's a distinction there with what's appropriate for each. You know, if you're going for that long form stuff.
I would be really interested to know if anybody on this call currently uses stories and, you know, has anything they'd like to add or anything that you've seen from using it personally.
That'd be great. We welcome any and all chats.
Okay, so these sounds like it's future plans.
That's
so
right.
We'll hunt you guys down, see how you're doing.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining. There's a weird delay. Sorry. There it goes. It's fine. So next Tuesday, next Thursday, same Zoom channel. And I will have to look at my list and see what they're about. But the last two have been great, so I assure you the next two will also be great. Okay. Ken has a hint. Start talking as soon as you go live, because on replays, you don't want a pause in waiting for listeners. That's right. Good point. Good point. Okay, Ken asked, where can you find the recordings? YouTube.com/Healthy Living Soundboard and Facebook.com/Healthy Living Soundboard. They will be up there probably within the next 30 minutes. Thanks for joining, everybody. See you next Tuesday.